Welcome back, and we jump straight away to Champion Select number 2, Dusty on the blue side. Riddle pick again, the red side. This is like a remake. It's the same pick, the same bands to start it off. Will we see something? No.
It's the same band.
Wait, is it Hecarim first?
I don't. Surely. Yeah, what is this? Just Jinx first pick then?
I think what you do here is you let them pick the Jinx and then you pick Nautilus Rumble if you want to run it back. I think if you run it back, you have to pick the Nautilus right here. You don't have to run it back. You can go towards the Lee Sin though.
Okay. Wait, it's salty. It's a run back. And the thing is, I don't even hate Jin Rumble. It's a great combo.
No.
This is a replay.
Okay, wait, no.
It is
guys, I'm getting flashbacks from Summer 2021 EU Masters where Fnatic are in the finals versus K-Corp. They lose the first game and they proceed to do the same exact draft in the second game and they lose that too. Stop. If it didn't work in game 1, it's not gonna work in 2.
This is a Nautilus.
It's like it has its moments, but the thing is, wait, you need to be able, right, okay.
Production, is this live?
This is live. So
no, this is a replay. No, I'm kidding. No, come on.
I trusted you. I really shouldn't have.
You should.
I was too busy paying attention to the screen anyway.
You don't pick Aurelia here. You do not pick Aurelia here.
It will look okay.
For the love of God.
I think if you do this, I don't mind it. This is a good trio. It is a good trio. Hate it for a second. But if you are going to do this, I need to see a better top lane matchup. And I need to see not set support because the set was getting picked off every single time as a reason it's fallen off a bit. And you can't disengage everybody. Ban the Akali as well because clearly you can't handle it. So get rid of Akali. Maybe think about picking up something. Honestly, even a Leona would go a long, long way.
The Vex.
Exactly, something like that.
Ban the Vex.
Don't ban the Vex.
Something different, something new.
No ban the Vex. I think LeBlanc and Akali in the hands of Buckland are so much more dangerous than the Vex. Because with the Vex, once you have wasted your passive to try and push in the wave, this is where you can actually engage with Aurelia and Rumble in the mid lane. I think we need more proactivity from this Rumble and we need more setup in lanes. Get something like the Shen, get something like the Ornn on the tops of the map. Even the Sion, can set up fights later on. Get me the Leona down both sides of the map, something that can CC, lock you down for such a long time that when you do step on the carpet,
yeah, stay there. Just give me a Leona. Give me Leona. Give me
melting on it.
Exactly. Like, give me something else that can do that. Like, I think the LeBlanc man makes a lot of sense considering his backland. I still think you can probably play the LeBlanc into Aurelia. It's just the Aurelia into the LeBlanc rather. It's more of a skill match. But when you know backland's comfortable on it,
Rumble wants to play into the LeBlanc.
And that is probably a better takeaway in some ways. Give Keck something he's a bit more comfortable on. The question is now, what does Aleph go towards? I mean, Aatrox is up. It's something he's looked before. Ornn, honestly, probably okay, but you lose that matchup. You just got to have a better team fight.
I would go probably towards the Gragas here.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, that is an Aleph special.
You're looking at very long-range targets. You're looking at Jhin, you're looking at Rumble. Aurelia's going to be diving in. The second these kind of targets come anywhere near you and you can actually barrel them. Also, you have the Jhin there where if he starts curtain call, you can interrupt. They're going to go with the... Camille Galio, maybe?
I mean, honestly, Camille Malphite would be hilarious, but I don't think that's necessarily going to be a mid-lane Malphite anytime soon. But I do like the Camille here. I think it's actually really nice to know you can't run away from it. If they lock in the Malphite, I will love them forever. Instead, mid-Kai'Sa would also be really fun. I know it's hovers, so we'll hold.
I'm sorry, but I think
Ari would make.
I would be very scared to play AP mid-Kai'Sa into Aurelia.
So it is the Vex in the end. They sure threw options. Honestly, I wouldn't have minded any of them, but again, the Aurelia would have destroyed the Kai'Sa. It would have been not nice. This is a lot of follow-up. Basically, Camille gets to pick a target, and like we were a little bit worried about backline access last game. Camille is like single out the Jhin, single out the Rumble, and they are going to have a horrible time because everyone will pile in from way, way, way away. At least they get the Leona, which I asked for.
I like this.
I like the fact that now MC has set up, not in one, not in two, in all three lanes, especially when you have the Megana. The Minina will bully the Camille from distance because Camille is a pretty good matchup into the Minina. If you do catch him, you destroy him. But then on the Megana, you stun her, you lock her down, you put down the carpet. You've got 3 lanes that can provide you with setup to gank. I think MC needs to be proactive in this game. He cannot be lost the second he sees the jungler top lane.
Counterpoint, I feel that Viking also has pretty good setup in most lanes there. You got Fizz in mid lane, Camille level 6. Like so, honestly,
and he's playing a champion with setup himself.
Exactly. So like, look, MC, you need to be on your counter gank form. He can do it on Rumble. He's done it before. He's done it against a lot of the really good teams here. But if you misread that early game again, your top lane or another lane gets put behind by the Volibear, then things get really scary.
Riddle me this. Who do you think is going to win? Now you first. Trouble.
It's the 1-3.
It is the 1-3? Yeah. It is a reverse?
You know what, man? They did it with JDXL. You give them false sense of security.
Yeah.
Let them win one game, and then you take everything home.
Look, I thought we controlled the NL copium supplies, but apparently Trouble's been
Nah.
got a hold of them in
I've
the
been
break.
buying it illegally.
She did the hair flip, so you know she's right. Without further ado, I'll toss it to the casters. Viper with it over!
Now I'm right.
What is happening?
Well, I was going to say, so unfortunately we didn't get full prediction. Well, we got Trouble's prediction.
Yeah.
The last game, our analyst desk both said that Riddle were going to win.
Okay,
And
you're throwing them
then-
straight under the bus here. Okay,
you know, okay, so
spicy.
the real-
I can see you don't want to get invited back. You get, you get blown
I
up.
said this to you. Everyone was like, oh, we're just toxic in the green room, we're nice on broadcast. I was like, no, let's do it the other way around today. Initialize is actually
Honestly,
hitting.
Initialize is actively beating Viperoon right now. He just went up to the caster
He
desk
can't beat me in
and
predictions
started
then, isn't
beating
it?
up my co-caster.
But the actual point I was going to get to with the, just moving on back towards the League of Legends, as you can see on your screens, is have Riddle fixed the problems that we had with their draft?
No, because they okay, they have if they track Viking in the early game. The problem currently is that Kex is still in a matchup that's not beneficial to him in the early game. And maybe we'll dive into that in just a little bit. Because I do want to see what's going to happen out of this little invade. Nukes will spud it out. Ward, not cleared. Any sweepers in chat? Nope, not gonna happen.
They're going to be spun out there and they're going to dissipate along the river. But quickly talk me through the early game, what we should be expecting. Are we going to see something similar to what we saw in the first game?
I mean, game plan is the exact same for Dusty. Again, you have a bot lane to play for with setup. Fatichun has opted in for cleanse, but that's not going to do all too much if you get hooked in the beginning. Yeah, you can cleanse to root, but either way, you will still have a lot of damage coming down on you. And now you don't have that kind of bodyguard that would put the damage back. Now it's really only disengage from nukes coming through instead, and while he can tank it, it's not going to have the same sort of aggression. And Venza this time around with the cleanse will be able to get rid of a lot of that CC. But no, what I really want to hammer down is the fact that MC this time around needs to be way better at covering his junglers in the early game. You need to get up to that level 6 point, still for the bot lane, still for the jungler, still for slow Q on Aurelia in the mid lane as well. And if you can't get to that safely, well, you're going to be running into the same problems that we just saw in game 1. So I don't think it changed all too much. I think stylistically, they're still running into some of the same issues, but now at least they know where they will be attacked, and that may help them a little bit.
Well, of course, we're going to have to keep our eyes on MC. I think that's going to be the matchup that's the most interesting, just because getting a little bit more in the mixer would be good. And it's what Initialize and Trouble we're talking about. Well on the desk, we've got to give them some credit for doing good work when they do. And talking about how MC has been so pivotal in Riddle's rise to prominence, in the playoffs especially, but last game, he didn't really do that much, which was unfortunate. It was very reactive. He got a couple of good things going, but it was really too little too late. And now, actually, very early on, we're going to see a little bit of Dusty just letting their opponents know they're there.
Honestly, really nice from FGG there, doing the auto attack animation cancel into the queue there, just to catch out Fatichun. Problem as well now is that before you had 2 lanes that was pushed in on 3. This time around you have 3 lanes that's getting pushed in on 3. Now with a slow push coming back to Alif, which is great because MC's pathing up towards the top side. Alif can now wait around in safety and not have to worry about getting ganked himself. Although Viking does fancy himself a little invade here. MC half HP, Smite is not up just yet. Will be just in a little bit to regain some HP again. No wards around, but Viking doesn't know that, and he will be backing out. But MC's job is still to farm to level 6.
Yes.
You don't have to do too much, but you want to be able to cover your teammates. You want to be able to track Viking in the early game. That's what we're looking for.
And so far, so good in that regard. Viking, of course, was very, very proactive last time around. It's back to take a little bit of poke. Viking going to move on through, but Slowq is able to dive away. Flash is evadable, though, and this should be first blood. No, oh, no! That is why Jamada Senpai said, always pop your pot when you're fighting.
Oh, yeah, and in the mid lane, or jungle, rather, we might have another fight again. That's fully overheated.
Trouble, and MC is a level up, has to flash away, but won't be on the other shield. First blood goes down to the Riddle jungler, looking towards back to get the kill. It's reactive, but it's good.
And it's cheeky from MC. He's done the full clear. He's a level up ahead of Viking. He's overheated, and that's massive damage. Coming out against the Dusty jungler, picking up the first blood. Riddle already looking way better than they seemingly did in the first game. And Slowq, he is getting way too aggressive here. Viking's almost in a position where he can capitalize on it. Tries to get the thunder down, and he just does, but damage is not enough. MC now has all the intel he needs. He knows Viking, he's going to be clearing his top side as it has not been cleared yet. And therefore MC is able to pick up a kill.
And I mean, Viking holding the flash and not going for that first blood himself might have been the difference there between a kill and no kill, just thinking that he had a little bit more damage than they did. As Dusty go 0-1 down in terms of kills. Of course, they took the first game very, very comfortably. But this time around, Riddle might be looking to change their fortunes with a very, very similar draft.
Yeah, it's already looking way better now. They do have the vision. This is a 2v2.
Vikings moving on forward, trying to get towards Slogan. He might be the victim now. Burning super low and just gets cut down. It's MC with the kill as Backlund running to the win. In the bot lane, we've also got a fight going on, but it's going to dissipate. It's just a little bit of a skirmish back and forth as Vans are actually looking forward. But now we're seeing Backlund running back, trying to get away the other direction. FGG will be able to pick up a kill in the bot lane, but it's going to be Sloku securing a 2-0 in the mid. Dusty, they get something bot, but this mid lane, MC is doing exactly what we wanted to see from him.
In the grand scheme of things, you're exactly correct. This time around, they had the tracking on Viking. They even know they opted in for a 2v2 situation. There was a deep ward in the mid lane, which gave them the intel that Viking was coming around. And it's making matters so much easier for them. Flash forward from Fatih-chan.
Thinking about it, but puts that fourth shot into Venzo, had a health bar enough to chunk. It won't be able to hit the zap to continue the exchange and does back away. But now this is a completely different side to Riddle, and I mean, we needed to see big changes from the last game as Alepht's going to put a bit of damage down onto Kex, so just needs to be careful, but we'll be able to back away. The changes we've seen so far are very, very promising, especially, let's have a look at this bot lane fight.
Yeah, because we didn't actually see what happened, but this is the new... I love how matchups kind of evolves over the time, especially because we've seen so much Nautilus and Leona, but the way you're supposed to play this matchup out now as Nautilus is actually wait for Leona to dash forward with the Center Blade, and then you can actually interrupt that with your Q, just like you would with a Thresh. It's a bit more finicky, but it's still very much doable, and FGG once again showing up, getting themselves a kill down in the bot lane.
Luke showing up mid lane just to stick around and make sure the backline's not going to do anything crazy like engage, because that would be a very bad time for the Vex. FGG is moving around warding. No one's gone towards the Dragon yet, so it's been up about a minute. Infernal will be our first of the day, which is quite a nice impactful Dragon to put a little bit of priority on.
Oh, most definitely. Now, let's see if Dusty as well can influence any other lanes. Viking is around the top side. There's currently no wards. MC is around the area. Oh no.
The will not catch because of the ultimatum. Will be stunned up, taken low. Nah, bouncing away, but Aleph follows the
Aleph!
and secures himself the kill. Different champ, same old tricks.
Brilliant stuff from Aleph. That's almost a mad life prediction there. On like a mill instead. MC was barely around the area, was sitting on the Crocs. But brilliant from Aleph, dodges away the Gnar with the Hectech ultimatum, and afterwards follows up with a hook shot. FGG with a hook line and sinking, nope, not coming through.
Although the follow-up coming through from Nukes, but it's just going to be a little bit to just disengage things, get that aftershock proc, and will back away. But that's exactly what we want to see. Let's have another look at this.
Oh, ain't that just beautiful? Dodges out in the stun and ultimate in the same one. Kex plays it correctly in terms of saving the jump, but this... Aleph, my god. Brilliant, just brilliant.
Aleph really out here like, I want to get MVP of the series, just saying, with some really strong performances in the first game, and then in this one making a play like that when your team is a little bit behind. Maybe Dusty just have to play through this top lane again, because clearly they've got something going on between the two.
Oh, most definitely. And it's something where, once again, Riddle has not been very willing in expending vision up towards the top side. I'm talking a river ward or a ward just where the blast cone is going to be where Viking will come through. Kex is really not getting a lot to work with either. Granted, yeah, he could be the one himself, dropping that pink ward around the bush area, but it just goes to show that there's a clear weakness in the early game from Riddle, and quite frankly, it's come from Kex.
Move just into the bot lane for a minute. Just to remind you, Venza and FGG, Nukes and Fadigan are all still there, just chilling out, farming up. And of course, we saw the Jinx in the later stages. Venza was able to do some good work in the final couple of team fights in that last game, but the positioning was a little bit suspect. We're yet to see that this time around. But I'm a little bit worried about Venza. I'll give it up, because he's looking a little bit like the Venza of the earlier part of the season in terms of the decision-making, but the mechanics later do look like a little bit later.
Okay, let's have a look at topside though, because Engage comes through once again. Kex in a 1 versus 1, but the rest of his teammates is around the area, and this is crucial because this time around it's Dusty opting in for a bot side dive, but Riddle is on.
He's going to look towards it. Fadigan hit up by the damage, and the kill goes over to Venza. Nukes now is a tanky prospect. FGG is going to be taking up the tower, is ignited as well, but going to be able to go the kill. It's Viking with the second. A perfect dive as everyone from Dusty gets out alive.
Brilliant cross map before in game 1. Top lane was what they were targeting this time around. Once they see MC and slowQ on the top side starting up that Rift Herald, they themselves would just be regaining control of the bot side, putting Venza ahead on the Jinx and now gaining themselves the first Infernal Drake off the Rift.
A very, very nice trade-up. Of course, having that higher priority dragon is nice to make it a little bit more valuable, but 2 kills for 2 plates and Herald will be nothing to stick your nose up at if you are Justy. Of course, the Herald has gone to MC, so we'll have to keep our eyes on where that investment goes and whether it's going to be more impactful than the one we saw in the first game.
You're completely right, because this time around, it now means that it's on Riddle to create tempo. It's on Riddle to create a play. And so far, there haven't been too many lanes to do so. And yes, you can go for the mid lane once again. But realistically speaking, it should be difficult just forcing that fight out of nowhere unless slowQ finds it. Because it is still an Aurelia into a Vex. And it would come from it would have to come from other teammates like Nukes finally getting enabled on the map. And this was something the desk was talking about as well, seeing Nuke roaming around.
Yeah, being able to get into different lanes and give that man advantage. It didn't necessarily always work out last game, even though...
He never got out of lane.
I mean, there was one time he got mid. The teamfight didn't go their way, but he was physically somewhere else on the map.
Yeah, that's a point. I'm not so sure if it's a good one.
And you were like, you know what, no. You certainly said words in an order, but that's about as far as I can go. But let's talk about slowQ a little bit, if you'll indulge me.
I will.
Because this time around, the Aurelia, which is something that he played last game, has gone online much, much sooner. I don't mean he's necessarily picked up the really super early items. He hasn't got very fed. But when we get into these early skirmishes, which is already where Riddle looked their best last game, having this Aurelia a little bit further ahead than the Vex is certainly going to be useful.
I completely agree, and with the amount of bot side vision that they've already obtained for themselves, nothing is really stopping them from trying to create more skirmishes down towards the bot side, or when Red Buff finally respawns again. You will have TP again on Kex as well in just a little bit of a moment, and then here, the vision comes into fruition. They know Viking is around. He's level 7. MC is level 9.
This is the exact opposite of what we saw last game. Of course, the jungle matchup is the same, but Viking has not been able to get onto the map and do as much. Of course, he's actually been involved in 75% of his team's kills so far, so it does look okay. But MC has already got 2 himself and is moving in towards the mid lane. Backland is going to be caught out by the Equalizer, has to flash away from that corridor between the tower and the wall. And we'll be able to survive. A plate does go over, but Riddle, they're being proactive. They're starting to make plays work. This is looking better from them. However, they don't seem to have built themselves any kind of lead just yet.
No, I think MC will just have to use the Rift Herald in the mid lane just in a little bit to put some more gold injection into slowQ on this Aurelia, because it is timing out soon. And if they go for a skirmish down here, which does not favor them, they're just not going to get much out of it. I'm really curious as to where that's coming through, because now slowQ's on reset. He's low on mana. The Riddle bot lane is pushed in, and they're going to be resetting. So MC, he's going to be walking up towards the top side to try and clear his camps. And granted, it is a decently low top turret. They may be able to open it up if Rift Herald becomes part of the action.
But is currently hanging around mid. Might have to make a beeline if he wants to go there. slowQ did teleport back into the mid lane, so there is an option to throw it down there just to allow a little bit more support. And I think actually that's exactly what MC is going to do. It's a 2v2 as FGG. Red, the player, moved forward as well. This won't be enough to take the tower. And actually very similar from what we saw Dusty do in the first game, with just not getting the tower particularly, but getting a couple of plates and getting it low. We're going to see a team fight though as Viking kicks it off. FGG following on through. Nice damage, but the Riddle are turning up. They do lose the first member of the fight. MC does fall, but slowQ, as we said, is good in these skirmishes. Only gets 1 before Venza takes him out, though. Nice lockdown from Backland and Viking. As Riddle forced to back away, their bot lane survives, but the rest of the players in that play did go down.
Yeah, and they can still go for it here.
Oh, Kex needs to be a little bit careful. Oh
my god!
Slightly at A-Lip doing a lot of damage. This is exactly what Trouble was saying. If Mini Nog gets jumped onto by a player like this, it's curtains.
And once again, the issue of rises for Riddle, the fact that, okay, let's change it up. Let's just pick a different top lane on 4 instead. You're still putting yourself in a position where you're giving the opponent a counter pick. And that's the real issue. It's not really the champion itself, but let's have a look at the fight again, because it's actually brilliant setup. It looks bad at first with Viking having to face check, but as soon as Venza joins the fight and he gets the flame choppers down on slowQ, slowQ doesn't do to get to do the Fett Aurelia things, he's just shut down in an instant. And that's the pivotal things as well. Shut down gold going over, not just 2 kills.
A11 needs to be... Whew, that's a lot of damage coming out of Camille.
He can take it again.
Turn this fight once again. Gonna not flash on the tower though, because he did take a decent amount of damage from that minion wave and will back away. Grab 2 plates before the towers sloughed off though. And Dusty, for what felt like a battle play from Riddle, have a smaller lead than they had last game, but are still in control.
But I'm seeing some of the same things again. Bandage duty needs to be applied on top side once again. Kex is going to get outscaled on site, and I kid you not, it has already happened 14 minutes into the game. There's going to be issues with this, Camille, so it's for the rest of the map, really, to start making plays, especially since the TP's down. Alif know this, though, so he's just moving straight down to Drake, with Kex moving up towards the top side. We might see a 5 versus 4 situation benefiting Dusty if they play this one correctly.
Dragon's going to go very, very low. It should be secured by Riddle. They're going to grab that one first of the game for them, but there's the damage coming on through. They've caught out Rumble, and MC is gone. Nuke's going to have to run away, as well as Aleph looking towards him, just trying to get a little bit of damage down. We know how much he can do, but Backlund diving on forward with the ultimate. Nukes is toast as he gets blown up for the double for Backlund. As Dusty lose out on the objective, it's Ocean Soul this game, but they do grab 2 kills, which they'll be really happy with.
They'll get so much more than that. They can push in the bot side, get Venser turret as well, and all of a sudden start opening up the side lanes that we are talking about. They're putting themselves in a very good situation for the second Rift Herald, where a team fight probably will be broken out, or rather just be given up by Riddle. Now Slowq getting aggressive in mid lane.
I think Backlund is gone. He is dead. Slowq picking up the shutdown, which could be big for the Aurelia, and Venser, as you said, is going to be able to secure a tower in response.
Slowq as an individual shows up. Once again, we saw signs of it in the game just before. Riddle
moving forward. FGG is there, but with 2v2 as Nukes does show up, putting down the Zenith blade and starting up Viking, who's tanky, but he's not that tanky. He has to go golden to survive. The red carpet is below him, but he will be able to ult to safety. FGG on the tower will secure his freedom as Jinx moves into the mid lane.
And that's quite a few ultimates down, whilst second Rift Herald, as we just talked about, has respawned. This can put Riddle in a opposition rather, where they can try and contest a vision setup and put themselves in a better situation should a fight break out. But once again, it's a man advantage. There's not much to do about this situation. The read coming through from Riddle is a little bit wrong with Kex moving up towards the top side. If they really wanted to go for it, should have moved that top laner down as well, but they just have to play retreat duty as soon as the Drake is taken.
Aleph is doing so much damage at the moment, and it's a case of they can send him top against Kex. He's a great time. Definitely wins that 1v1 at the moment. They can move him down to team fights and be like, yeah, you know what, nah, you can be off split pushing. We don't really care. We're going to be able to take kills off of your team, even if we don't get the objective, which by and large isn't hugely important. And this Camille is going to be a massive play around. And you've got Jinx, you've got Vex, you've got tools to do additional damage as well. And once again, I'm feeling like this is feeling a lot like last game, a little bit slower, a little bit less extreme. But a 26-minute win is pretty extreme already.
Nah, you're right on the money. Same stylistic, different champions, really. I will say, though, Riddle has managed to make it more competitive and create more threats this time around, at least with MC being ahead of the curve against Viking this time around, and Slowq being ahead of Backlund. But there's still so many things you'll have to deal with. The side lanes being the main issue, but also the fact that this side lane pressure can now be converted into mid lane pressure instead. And Viking still has that Rift Herald active. So I don't think it'll be too long before this mid lane turret will fall.
I can't agree more, because we know what Dusty's MO is. And now, for me, the real question is going to be, as we look at gold and the difference, it is a smaller difference in top lane, but it's still quite noticeable. My question is going to be, if Dusty can put themselves in a similar map state with the 3 towers down and looking pretty nice, with the towers defending themselves as well, if they can play out those next 5-10 minutes a little bit better than they played it out last game, because they won in those 10 minutes, but there were lots of cracks in the armor, which I want to see paved in a little bit.
Yeah, you're right, because those cracks in the armor, that's also opportunities for Riddle to punish. And,
yes,
you know, you got to give Riddle credit for that. They have been good at punishing when the window has been left open by Dusty, which they forget quite often, not going to lie, a little bit of a drift. Riddle able to sneak in, steal away some of the gold that Dusty have accumulated. This time around, though, that's that side lane pressure we talked about. 4 members in the mid lane now with Backlund as well. Aleph can move down if that's what he desires, but with Rift Herald spawning up, surely this objective will fall.
Should be able to get this mid tower. Riddle have committed members to the defense, but it's going to be taken down by the battering ram. I don't think there's going to be a second charge on the cards, though, as Slowq moves on forward. And that's something to note as well, because if they give these opportunities over to Riddle to take plays and make something happen, Slowq is in a much better position this game to do so. And an Aurelia grabbing 1 kill, which is something that we saw a couple of times last game, with a couple of kills on top, could quickly turn into an Aurelia grabbing 2, 3, 4 kills in a team fight.
100%, especially since there's still so little mobility on the carry of Venser, right? He's once again opted in for the Kraken Slayer, so no extra mobility from a Gale Force. So a lot of this will come down to Venser fighting really good position, but let's be honest, that's not what he displayed in the first game.
No.
As you said, cracks in the armor, they are still showing, although Dusty, though, haven't really faltered to a pickup. It's more been Riddle actually playing around nice with the tracking, not so much Dusty slipping up, but there's still room for it, although probably not what you're hoping for.
No, you're probably not going into a game going, we really hope that Dusty are going to make some mistakes, because Riddle, we heard it in the interview, they want to be coming in proactively, we want to be coming in and taking the fight to Dusty. And I mean, MC's prediction's already wrong in terms of...
Yeah, the 3-0 didn't really happen. No, yeah, you're right about that.
I mean, for me, something that is also worth noting is that Venser's positioning can be a little bit suspect, but Dusty build a composition that can paper over those issues quite well, even with Aleph and Backland. These are both champions that can stop Aurelia dead in her tracks.
And this time around, it's not Riddle just opting in for the wrong fight either. You can see that they're actively trying to trade sides of the map instead. They see that Dusty's going for a Drake. Well, what's the next option? Let's take that top turret. Let's trade the blue buffs, rather, because Venser and company went in and stole away Riddle's blue buff, while Riddle was like, great, we'll steal away yours. So they're just trading or trying to trade evenly on the map, which is exactly what you want to do, especially with Riddle's composition, where you want to find that great team fight where a lot of damage is just going to be compiled on the enemy backline. And for that, maybe still 3 items on the Jin for that proper facilitation with the Curtain Cone. Maybe Slowq at least with another item. But as the teams are posturing right now, they're feeling a fight. They want to see if they can catch someone here.
And Venser's the one who's extending, going to be caught out by the Equalizer. The stun comes through, but the cleanse will be utilized. And now Dusty on the attack. Teleport coming in from behind, though, as Aleph runs on through. Looking for MC, will be able to find him. Nukes is caught out and will go down as well. Fadigan has to cleanse himself and dives away. Riddle might have only lost 1, but they still lose 1. As Dusty make him pay.
Not much to get on the map, though, in terms of objectives. There's only really vision and extra intel to be gained off this, which is, of course, still a victory. Unless Dusty really want to go for this Baron, rather.
This is brave, though, because MC's in the neighborhood. Riddle still have 4 members. It's only Nukes who went down. The squad is big, but it's not big enough potentially to take down this Baron uncontested. They're going to be able to spot it out. MC looking towards it. Doesn't have ultimate just yet, but it will be coming up in the near future. And Dusty know this. Are they going to commit? Are they going to do this? Because if they keep going, MC will be able to break them up with the Equalizer. It's about to come off cooldown, but it looks like they want to go for the engage. Kex's call out will go down to Aleph once again. I've said that so many times this series. As Nukes moves back in. FGG looking for someone, catches out the Leona, will be taken very, very low. Venser on the back getting the damage down as MC gets the fire burning. Aleph will be able to escape as FGG hasn't overextended, tries to catch out Fadigan. It's Venser doing all the damage. Dusty take another fight, but will they be able to take Baron off this?
I think the HP bar might be a little too low with small death timers, 15 seconds on Kex, but no, you know, they're going to fancy it. That Curtain Call might be coming up in a small while as well, but there's just no mana for it. And it looks like they'll just be going for the Baron.
Oh, I've seen steals in my time.
Oh no, this can be cheeky.
This smells like one Fadigan. Members are so low from Dusty. Might be able to pick up someone though as he's thinking about it. Baron goes 2K, 1K, looking for the flourish. No! That was so
91, 91.
Dusty, you have me going for a second, but they do secure it. Let's have another look at the fight.
Oh, they just don't know MC doesn't have flash. They could have taken this Baron. They weren't really risk of a smite fight here, but MC is on the back with the Equalizer. Kex diving forward all alone. No follow-up from Slowq. Doesn't have that flash. And once the chase downs come through, there's still no Aurelia ultimate to work around with. Equalizer have already been popped, and Curtain Call is on cooldown. So you just don't win these extended fights, especially not when you're playing against a Jinx. And this is where it got really dicey. This is where it got really, really close. I admire Fatichen for walking down in on the top side. And the timing was almost perfect. Let's have a look at it once again. 91-6!
Okay, this is a public service announcement to NLC teams. Stop not smiting Baron correctly.
There was no smite. There was the jungler was dead. That's why.
Well, I mean, I just hate it. They're stressing me. I'm gonna go grey because of these Baron attempts.
I mean, they had it all under control.
No,
obviously.
No.
Obviously, yes. And now with Baron buff, they're sieging up the inner turrets instead. Alif down towards the bottom side, playing 2 lanes, exactly what you want to see. Alif needs to be a little bit careful, though.
Yeah, Kegs is about to go large, looking for Alif, trying to take him down, dancing away. The Camille should be able to get over the wall with a blast cone, dodged away from the Gnar ultimate as well. May well see him out alive. FGG gonna get slowed up. Venza as well. He might be a little far up as FGG gets the ultimate, but it's gonna be for nothing as Fadigan secures the shutdown. FGG has to go golden, but the statue will tumble most likely as Backlund moves on through, trying to get the escape. Sends 2 fleeing, dives on through, sends nukes fleeing back to the fountain with the ignite as they will be able to catch out MC. Nice ultimate coming through from Viking as well to help secure the kill. And Venza caught out. Riddle get the kill, Riddle lose the fight. It's the story of the series.
Yeah, they are picking up a few objective bounties on the other side of the map. Slowcube picking up the inner turret on the top side, still getting a lot of gold for himself, but in the grand scheme of things, that is a very clear Dusty victory. And yeah, Venza getting caught off, guys, a little bit of theme. I'm not gonna lie to you, but once again, in the bigger picture, it's still a lot of kills being picked up by the rest of Dusty afterwards. Backlund still having the ultimate, getting the kill with the ignite, seeing if he can snipe Fatichin as well, just misses it barely, and they still pick up the 2 kills. They still keep the pressure going with the remaining Baron buff on their remaining members.
I mean, there's a very fine line between getting caught out and an inventive engage.
There's a very fine line between securing Baron and getting it stolen. There's a very fine line between a lot of things here, but so far, Dusty has still been on a favorable side of that set line.
Kex, not taking as much damage as he was a few minutes ago. We'll actually try and get onto Alif. Teleport coming through as well, but I think the Camille might just be able to run away from this one. Slowkey not even going to chase as the Baron does fall off.
But in the mid lane.
Looking towards MC, can Viking get the engage down, looking for the slow, won't be able to find it, will be able to smite for the slow, but it's nowhere near enough to catch out the Rumble. But Dusty's still looking for these proactive plays, moving towards the bot side. This tower is likely gone, it's Rumble already.
Yeah, they should be punished for sending 3 members up towards the top side, investing an expensive teleport as well, and therefore 600 gold shared in between the remaining 4 members on the bot side. Soul point already accumulated for Dusty as well, and in all honesty, they can be quite patient about this one. There's no need to stress about it. You have 5 kills on Backlund. Alif sitting on 4 kills as well. I wonder, production, if we could actually have a look at the gold as well, and there we have it. Events are actually at 13k as well, to the 10,000 of Fatichin. You can see the deficit also on the top side. Some clear-cut differences between some of the members.
Well, I must say the jungle difference is much, much closer than we saw in the first game. Actually, a lead for MC right now in terms of gold. So, improvements being made by Riddle. This game is not done yet, but it's going to be difficult for them. We got Baron up before the next dragon comes up as well, so there could be a point of contention there. Whether Dusty feel the need to fight over it immediately, whether they just want to control the pace, as they've been doing pretty well this series so far, in order to play for that soul point, which might be a little bit more long-term as a win condition.
This is also where Dusty starts making mistakes. Let's have a look if this is one of them.
FGG flashing away from the mistake. Viking going off on through into the middle. Who are they going to be able to target? They're going to be able to get onto nukes. As the damage comes through from Venza, he's on the side, putting out so much damage. Not touched by anyone just yet. MZ goes golden, but it's going to be caught out by the rest of Dusty as Venza picks up another. The damage is massive as Fadigan sent fleeing back to base. And do you know what? It's on the same timetable as last game. Dusty moving into the base, cracking open the inhibitor. Could they look to end?
Yeah, definitely this time around. 30, 20 seconds, death timers. Nuke's the first one who's going to be spawning, and that's still in long 10 seconds. Dusty, once again, a clean-cut early game with win conditions to play for. Ruining, taking over the side lanes, and then taking it to the team fights instead. Venza, are they going to be padding the KDA? Well, maybe a little bit.
He's thinking about it, but Nux is going to be able to get back onto the fountain. And do you know what? Riddle tightened up a couple of errors, but Dusty took it to a different level as well. They're going to pad a little bit of KDA before they go for the Nexus. 28 minutes this time. It took a couple of minutes longer, but Can Riddle survive 30 minutes?
It feels like I'm watching the same game. Yes, Riddle this time around is optimizing where there's a few mistakes. MC this time around was a part of the game.
Yes.
But you're still putting yourself in the same position with the same draft, the same time. If you're red side, please just give Kex that counter pick. Like, blind pick your support then instead, and make sure you have a stable top line, because it's quite clearly a threat that A-Liv will just take over the 1v1, the 2 versus 1. Like, there's just so much to deal with, and not much of attention for Riddle on that top side.
I mean, lessons need to be learned by Riddle if they want to get themselves back into the series. One more loss and they are gone. We're going to jump to a short break. When we come back, the analyst desk is going to take us through a couple of those lessons, so don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a few.